Good morning everybody. It's a little bit of a chilly day, as you can probably see from the cloud. A bit grey and dull, but there you go. My tatty garage still behind me. Right, so today, excuse the wind, it is a bit blowy. Today we're going to endeavour to, as you can see there's a ladder there, and we're going to try and put up the wire for the armoured cable. The connectors and everything I've got and the wire and stuff have turned up. I shall show you those in a second, and hopefully we can get the cable up, and then when the armoured cable comes with its clips and stuff, it's already ready to go. Okay, so I'll join you in a second with the camera the other way so that I can show you what's going on. Okay, there we go. Got our little roll of cable. I think I got 15 meters of the stuff. Looks pretty good, but I like this packet because it came with all the necessary adapters for anchoring into the wall, or as I'm going to do these into the wood, and then you've got two adjusters for tension, and then these nice little clips where you loop the wire around there, pass it through the clip and tighten it up, and hopefully that will keep it done. And there's enough there to actually do two clips on each end of the wire, so that's quite good. So we shall see where we're going. As far as the wire is concerned, I am deliberating between putting it up there, which is going to be kind of like pulling the hoop to one side, or I'm contemplating putting it through there, but I might actually pre-drill a hole through to the other side and put the hook on the other side so that I can loop it through and then bring it through the beam, so you've got the beam actually supplying some extra help to actually anchor it there. And then when we come down to the garage, I've decided I'm going to drill a little tiny hole in here. This wood's rubbish and will get replaced at some point, but in the meantime a little hole here, and then what that's going to do, I don't know how good the light is, but there's a beam just there, that's the back of that wood, and there's a beam here. And I think I might apply the same principle of bring the wire through the beam, anchor it at the back, and then have the adjuster kind of here. So I might end up having to make two tiny little cables that go between the adjuster and the hook. I'll have to just have a see and a play how we get on. So we shall have to have a think about that one. Let's have a look at what we've got. So as you can see, these adjusters have got a hook on, so potentially if I go through the beam, then the adjuster's going to be on the wrong side, so I might have to just I've got enough bits and pieces there to actually do some little short run cables that can go through the beam and round onto the hook, which might be on this side, but we'll have to see. So I'll pause it here while I have a cogitate and see what's going to be the best way to do it. Okay, right, after a bit of a cogitation I've decided I'm just going to truss these, screw them into the beam at the top and at the bottom, and see how well they go. And some of these things here won't be used, and they're pretty good fixed things. At the end of the day, it's only supporting the cable, so I think that'd probably be a good enough do, and it will just make things a little bit easier, less drilling holes in the wood and so on. So that's what right, we're up the ladder at the moment. That's the beam I'm going to put it into. So what I shall do is give myself a little bit of space, and I'm going to do a little pilot hole just to get the thread going on the, there you go, that should just be enough, and we shall get the thread going on that thing there on the hoop, and then we shall get the hoop screwed in. Okay, here we go. One good little bit of advice when you're doing this kind of thing: go in as far as you can with your fingers, and then Move on to the trusty screwdriver. Makes life so much easier. So that's quite tight fitting, so I think it's going to be quite good for the anchoring of the wire. Yeah, nearly done. Don't need to go in much further than a thread, because at the end of the day you're only screwing it into the same bit of wood, so let's be neat about it. And put the hook at the bottom there. There we go. Nice little fitting, and then we're going to run it along there and down to the box for the armoured cable, so it'll be nice to be able to put the cleats on there to hold it. Then we shall loop it. I shall do a bit of a loop here and do what they call a drip loop, but it's not so important here because there's no brick or anything to worry about, but we shall have to do one down there in the garage. Right, I shall see you down at the garage. Right, so there's the thing in, the eyelet. It turns out that just behind this facer board is a nice big 2-inch thick beam that runs all the way along the top of the garage, which I didn't realise was there. It's hard to see when you're in the garage, so I've just, as you can see, I've gone right in so that it's gone through the fascia board and into the actual beam at the back, so hopefully that should be a good support, and that means I don't have to faff about trying to get the wire through a tiny little hole, which I've drilled all the way through everything, so that's simplified the job a little bit. So let's see if we can get the hook and eyelet and everything sorted out now. It around the hook, you can see there, and just kept a hold of it, and also top tip, make sure you put these little things on the wire before you commit yourself to your hoop and your loop, and putting your little kind of spigot bit in there, because it's a bit, makes you feel a little bit embarrassing before you then have to undo what you just did so that you can put them back on. So thankfully I remembered this time, and what I've done is I've actually slightly giving myself a little bit of excess, because you never know, it's always better to have a bit more, and that way the second one's just keeping it tidy there. So I haven't got anything to hold the camera, so I shall pause you for a second while I clip it on, and we can carry on from there. Right, so there we go. We have our wire running up to the thing, so I shall probably do a 50-50 adjustment. We're turning the screw to tighten it up, and we'll see how we go from there. So let's have a crack at seeing if I can do it by hand for a little bit until the slack's gone. So make sure you hold this back one as well on this side, because you want it to screw both, and hopefully see it's actually working its way along, and the tension's now coming into the wire, so about the same on both threads there. You can always pull it with your hand to help with the tension a little bit, so that's getting quite tight. You can see it's already straighter. So what we'll do is we'll go down, and we'll do the same with this one. Hold the hook so that you're doing it on both. I'm trying to pull the wire at the same time to try and help it while it's pulling. It's definitely getting tighter now. Yeah, see, if you try and do it without holding the hook just spins round. And that's bit of a pain in the butt, because then you've got to do both at the same time. So what I'll do is I'll get that a little bit, oh, it's actually not too bad. I don't want to strain it too much. Let's just give it a couple more turns. There we go. Almost play a tune on that, taut as a guitar string. Good. go. One wire done, 2 adjusters on. Nice good solid fitting. Down to the garage, ready for me to put the armoured cable on. So the armoured cable's arrived, but I'm just waiting for the cleats to actually hold it onto the thing. So get rid of that hook. The drill bits. This is armoured cable. This is 4mm 3-core. 3x4mm square armoured cable, brown, black and grey. So as long as you note in the junction box what's your earth, I shall probably err on the side of brown being live, which it generally is in modern electrics, and the black will be neutral, which would have been originally in the old days when it was red and black. So there is a trend there that black would be the neutral. So the grey I shall use as an earth, and I've got some earthing sleeve, and what I shall do is I shall put that on both sides to indicate that the grey is being used as the earth. And I might even make a note in the box. I don't know if you can see it very well there. It's armoured cable. It actually has an armoured braiding around the side of it, and a very thick thing. It's very firm and stiff to actually bend. Be a challenge to cut. I've seen some people use pipe cutters to actually cut through this top surface and the braid, and then you have a little gland pack that you put on, which I've got here. Comes with the glands and the shield, and then these big nuts have little screws in so that you can screw the earthing fly lead to it so that it earths all the cable. And obviously we'll put an earthing rod in there as well, outside in the garden, just outside the garage, so that it's earthed properly as well. So once all the cleats arrive, which are like this kind of shaped clip, which go around the thing like that, and then you put a screw through there where I'm tapping on my knuckle, and that will screw it to the wall. So once they arrive, then we can start looking at doing that. In the meantime, as I was saying in that corner, I'm going to put a little consumer unit which has arrived, so I shall unbox that. That will be a separate little job to video, and we'll decide how we're getting on with that maybe on another day, because now it's time for a cup of tea. And weather's still holding up. I think it's about 12-13 degrees. So anyway, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to give it a bit of a thumbs up, because that always helps YouTube to know that I'm doing videos that people are enjoying, and they might publish me a bit more on the old site. So take care everybody, and I'll see you anon.